Hey folks, I'm Tommy Z, and today we're going to talk about inspiration. How do you keep it moving so that you actually ship your work? And what are the practical things that I've done in my life to help me to get over creative ruts or times when I just didn't feel like working on my art? Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name is Tommy Z. This is The Anthem, and the first thing I want to say about inspiration, about getting over your creative blocks and shipping your work, is that we're not the only ones dealing with this problem. The problem of inspiration, of writer's block, of creative block, is seen at the highest levels of the game. Do you think there are film studios in Hollywood that aren't waiting for the final edit of a film from a frustrated director who just can't get the final edit to happen the way they want? Do you not think there are record labels and bands at the highest levels of the game that aren't going through the problem of lacking inspiration? There are, folks, and there are ways that they have dealt with this. I know this by reading their biographies, by reading anecdotes, and also by having dealt with this in my own life. So here are a few ways that I've dealt with beating creative block so that I can infuse my work with magic and to ship it out into the world consistently. The first thing might be quite obvious, but a lot of people actually underrate the practice of just sitting at your desk, sitting in your workshop, just sitting, okay? I didn't even say working, although that would be nice too, but just making a habit of setting a regular time every single day to sit. It doesn't have to be for 3, 4, 5 hours. It can be for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes. If you can manage the practice of sitting, it's as if you're telling inspiration, you're telling your muse, hey, I'm committing to sitting. I'm committing to my work as an artist, and it's more likely that inspiration will say, all right, if you're actually gonna make it a habit, a routine to sit down and to take your work seriously, I might visit you sometime. My dear friends, the point is you don't rely on the whims of inspiration. Instead, you rely on the things that you can control. The fact that you can choose to sit down every single day, sit at your desk, sit at your workshop. Maybe inspiration will come, maybe it won't. But if you can make sitting down a habit, then you're not going to make your work depend on whether inspiration visits you or not. Your art should not be left to the whims of inspiration. Folks, another important thing about inspiration, you need to commit in your mindset to yourself as a serious artisan, artist, songwriter, craftsperson. If you do not seriously, mentally commit to this journey, I don't think inspiration or your muse are going to respect you enough. Why should they commit at a deep level to inspiring you if you haven't even committed to yourself? It's as if inspiration doesn't want to waste its superpowers on somebody who isn't serious. I want you to think about something. Why is it that you take your full-time job project and your boss's demands so seriously? How come you always get that done? How come you get up on Saturday or Sunday morning for a conference call when your boss asks you to, but when your calling, your vocation, your dreams ask you to get up early and to take yourself seriously, we don't do it? Now, folks, another important factor in making sure the inspiration strikes is decisions. The root word of decisions, there are actually two root words of decision. One, they're both Latin. I don't remember exactly how to pronounce them, but it's basically cut off. Cut off. That's what decision means. If you want to make sure inspiration strikes, you got to create the right conditions for this. And the way it's worked for me in the past is that I decide on a simple theme for my work. So that's number one. I decide on a theme to eliminate all the possibilities. And the second thing is I decide on my tools. So two things. One, theme. 2, tools. Why do I decide on tools? Because if you want to make sure the muse joins you in the studio, the muse doesn't like endless possibilities. The muse doesn't like 1,000 plugins on your hard drive. The muse doesn't like all the possibilities. The muse likes focus. The muse likes deliberate intent. I like to look around my studio or even through my hard drive, and I like to pick 3, 4, 5 tools that are going to make up the tools I'm going to use for this particular project. Now, I have friends who are artists who said they were going through a crazy creative block because of the endless possibilities, because they didn't know where to start. It's really hard to make a decision when your possibilities are endless, but it's much easier when you limit the amount of possibilities. And the beautiful thing about this is you're only making this decision for this particular project. Don't worry, breathe. On the next project, you can pick a different set of tools. The point is, limit your tools and limit your themes. Pick a few and start working, and I promise the chances of inspiration striking are much higher than if you leave the possibilities endless. Now, folks, another thing that I found works for me is giving myself time to play. Like an innocent, naive, playful kid in the sandbox, I just give myself time to play. The more you worry about putting your work out there, the pressure of other people seeing it, the pressure of the deadline, what am I gonna do? I take myself so seriously as an artist. Stop it. Inspiration will never join a person like this in the studio. It's no fun. They join kids who are playing in their sandbox. So create the kind of conditions for you to be able to play. No expectations, no pressure. You're just playing. If you're planning to record an EP, you think it's gonna take you 3 months, I want you to schedule at least a month of just sketching, of just playing around, of having zero expectations, opening new sessions every day, and just being carried away by the sounds, by the music. I promise you that after 30 days of playing, there's gonna be multiple times when the muse joins you in the studio, and when you look back on all the sketches that you've done over the past 30 days, you're gonna have a number of beautiful gems, which you can then evolve into full-length songs. Now, another really effective method for maximizing inspiration, making sure the muse joins you in the studio, is inviting other kindred spirits, folks who are on the same frequency, into the studio with you. I don't know if you've ever had those moments when you're jamming on music with somebody, suddenly the music turns into magic. It's a coincidence, it's usually an accident, but there's more than one person to witness, to experience this moment in the studio, and that makes it magical. And the fact is, the more people that join you in the kitchen, the more of a chance that you're gonna be able to get out of a creative rut. When you don't know where the beat should go next, where the composition should go next, there might be somebody beside you that has a perspective, that knows exactly where you should take the music next. And that's why it helps to have kindred spirits, folks on the same frequency, in the workshop with you. If you've been putting in the work, you've been sitting down, you've been working on your mindset, you've been inviting other people into the studio, and it's still not working, you're still going through a creative block, the next thing that I found has helped me in the past is to leave the studio. Leave the environment where I'm doing the work, go to the movies, go for a walk. Go into another stimulating environment that will distract you from the problem at hand. Folks, we have proof throughout history that some of the greatest creative breakthroughs and inventions happened when people were not in their workshop, but instead they were riding the train, they were out for a walk, they were simply distracting themselves from the problem at hand. Here's the thing, folks, you don't stop thinking when you stop thinking consciously, okay? I want you to write that down in your journal. You do not stop thinking when you stop thinking consciously. There is an entire army of thinkers that are connecting all sorts of insights, ideas, experiences, memories that are stored deeply in your subconscious mind. And these workers, these thinkers, are connecting them when you're not thinking consciously. But in order for them to do the job effectively, you have to relax the thinking muscle. You have to distract yourself with something else. I don't know how many times you've had this eureka moment in the shower or when you were least expecting it. Well, that's because your subconscious thinkers, your subconscious workers had time to process the problem. Now, what's the important thing about allowing your subconscious to work on the problem? Before you go to the movies, before you leave your office, make sure that you have formulated your problem concretely. Make sure that you have posed a good question for your subconscious to work on. Your subconscious is not going to help you resolve problems that are posed to it in a fuzzy way, in a non-concrete way. So make sure that the question you exposed to your subconscious is very concrete, that you have worked on it consciously and deliberately for some time, and when you finally feel that your thinking muscle is straining, that you're not having any breakthroughs, I think it's actually beneficial for you to step away from your desk, relax the thinking muscle, and let your army of subconscious thinkers do some thinking for you. I promise that if you get into a habit of doing this, you will have more eureka moments. Folks, the final point about inspiration I want to make is you can't always wait for inspiration to come to you. Sometimes you have to be the one seeking it out. So I encourage you right now to seek out your heroes, the people who are doing the kind of work you want to be doing, the people who inspired you. Write them a handwritten note. You would be surprised how many people who are heroes to you would be willing to answer you if you wrote them a considerate email thanking them for inspiration and letting them know that they made a difference in your life. I want you to seek out experiences that nourish you, that inspire you. How many times have you come home from a concert, or have you listened to a piece of work that inspires you to create better work, that puzzles you, that makes you motivated to figure out how to create this kind of magic that will move human beings? Don't just wait for inspiration to come to you wherever you are. Make a deliberate attempt to seek it out. So I hope these tips, these thoughts on how to break through your creative blocks, on how to seek out inspiration, I hope they have been helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please say hello in the comments below. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'm Tommy Z, and I'll see you in the next video.